Folks, happy rookies report to training camp 2025. Is football officially back? No, it's not. We are likely not going to be getting any updates whatsoever. I can imagine the rookies are just going to be in the classroom and just getting a bit familiar with the system that Sean McDermott, Bobby Babich, and Joe Brady are planning on implementing for the 2025 season. The real news cycle begins next week when Buffalo has their official first day of media/fan training camp. And man, we have been patient and we have been rewarded, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously today there's not going to be a lot of storylines coming out of the Buffalo Bills camp, but I think that it might be a good time for us to start looking at the current depth chart. Because where it stands, there's currently 90 players on the Buffalo Bills roster. That is obviously going to be cut down significantly. And one story that we have each and every single season is attempting to identify what players or player even could be a surprise cut going into this training camp season. I got to tell you, I have been looking through the depth chart, and while I feel comfortable with our depth, I'm not comfortable enough to suggest that we could potentially be seeing multiple guys get cut like we have seen for the past couple of years. I wouldn't even be shocked if we didn't see a single person cut that wasn't supposed to, a surprise cut. Granted, there are going to be a couple of heated camp battles, right, particularly in the cornerback room, more specifically the secondary, and then maybe the wide receiver room, but it's largely just going to be who wins the kick return battle. But it's still fun to talk about. I still wanted to identify a couple of players that I think could be getting the axe that not many of us would anticipate. And more importantly, a couple of guys, or actually one guy specifically, that I could see potentially getting traded based off of a very crowded room where he is a part of. Welcome to another edition of the Bills Mafia Report. I am your host, Dan Mitchell. I post content. I go live Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. EST, bringing you everything that you need to know about your favorite NFL team, the Buffalo Bills, and also various storylines across the NFL. Please do me a favor, guys. If you are enjoying how I've been running my shows for the past couple of weeks, all I ask is that you just hit that thumbs up sign. That propels this live stream and content out to the YouTube algorithm so we can continue to grow our family, man. We are building a community of ball knowers, of football aficionados. So do me a favor, guys. Smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications if you haven't had an opportunity of doing so already. Now, folks, as you know, I am nosy, and I like to understand how far Bills Mafia and my fan base grows. So do me a favor, roll call in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and let me know what team you are currently representing. I can only imagine vast majority of you are Bills fans. However, still would like you guys to shout yourselves out. Don't be shy. We have a beautiful community out here. And guys, if you are ever hurt in a car, you already know what the deal is. You better call William Mattar, #1 car accident attorney in the state of New York, right? Car accidents are unfortunately a thing that occurs more often than we would like. And say, for example, that ever happens to you and an injury is part of the conclusion there. You have to make sure you have the right person in your corner. Look no further than my guy over here, William Mattar. He is my only call if, for example, I was ever in that situation, man. Shout out to everybody for tuning on in, and shout out to William Mattar for being a proud sponsor of today's channel. Let's see exactly how everyone is feeling. We have Cow is in the chat. Lillian, Alabama. What is going on? My boy. Hope all is well. Dan, I would be $20. I have better ball knowledge than you. Mafia Madness. Mafia Madness. He's betting everything he has in his bank account. Everything he has in his bank account. Man, that is ballsy. I'm just kidding, Mafia Madness. It was a lower leg strain, I think, Super Grova, but he will play training camp, so we are good. BPW, Dominican Republic, go Bills. I absolutely love to see that. Robert is in the house over on Facebook. Struthers, Ohio. We have Nunda, New York. Bills, of course. Bill Willis, Brother Dan, I wouldn't mind seeing Vaughn back as an incentive-laden deal. Seeing him opposite Bosa against Kansas City would be epic. So I got to tell you what, Bill, I don't particularly see it happening. I have seen a couple of articles that there are a few teams interested. I'm not sure if Buffalo is in that department. I think Brandon Beane has been trying to show, at least for the past couple of months of his overall roster depth, that he's really prioritizing youth. And not unless there's some crazy injury that might happen. I think he's probably going to be on the sidelines and his time as a Buffalo Bill are over. But hey, listen, I would not be would not be opposed to depth, right? Hey, Dan, the new format for the show has been good. I like how you try to engage with your audience coming from a Giants fan. Listen, man, I appreciate you coming in and showing love. Was Sanders there participating at camp? Mikey, that is a storyline I think that we are all waiting for. I have not received anything yet, or really so news at all from rookies reporting to camp. I would imagine that we should be hearing within the next hour or so. I'm just double checking just in case. Yeah, still nothing. But again, brace yourselves. Do not be surprised if TJ Sanders is a no-show today. Do not be surprised. Dan, you were actually right about that being all my bank account because I just got my first job at AutoZone and I'm starting tomorrow. Mafia Madness. Congratulations, man. That is awesome. That is awesome. A working man, my friend at AutoZone. You know, I look back at my first job ever and I was a bag boy at a local grocery store, right? And then afterwards, I worked my way up to the produce department, bro. I was sitting there, I was chopping celery. I was 15 years old, man. Look at that. Look at that. I was a grocery store for my first job ever. So congratulations, my guy. Make that money. Dr. Anthony J. Perkins from Phoenix, Arizona. What is the phone number to call in? Let me tell you what, Doc, I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put that in, my friend. And I'll tell you what, Doctor, I appreciate you for coming on in and showing a little bit of love today. As many of you guys know, I like to structure my shows where I get to engage with my audience on a very intimate level by allowing you guys to call in and just tell me anything that is on your mind. I am going to be dropping the call-in link in the chat, and I am going to sporadically let callers in throughout the episode. I would like to begin, of course, by talking a little bit about this Buffalo Bills roster, and then we'll start rolling in. I'm so happy that we appear to have some new guys in here. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that calls in on a regular basis. But you know what? I would love to see some newbies in the chat today. I would love to see some new callers in the chat today. So do not be shy, folks. If, for example, you have something on your mind, let's talk a little Buffalo Bills football. So I got to tell you what, I was having a very difficult time trying to find a candidate as a surprise cut because some of the names that stand out is number one, Dawson Knox, and he is a very polarizing player on this team. Some people are saying, what the hell is he doing? Some people like to think that he's better than Dalton Kincaid. He's a super polarizing character. Some people are upset that he's the third highest paid player on this team as far as AAV. So many would probably put Dawson Knox as a potential candidate. But one thing I like to point out to everybody, this Buffalo Bills team, last time that we checked, we currently have $95,000 in which we are able to spend right now. We are 32nd in the league. We are absolutely broke. And when it comes into cutting players, folks, it does ultimately end up hurting us from a dead cap perspective. So for anybody that's saying, oh, Dan, what about Dawson Knox? He could potentially be a guy that we could send packing so that we could move extra money. But one thing I always like pointing out, and in case you guys ever have like a take in your head where you're just like, oh yeah, like we could easily walk away from this player. So we should trade this guy. I always recommend that you go over to Spot Track, right? And that is probably the best when it comes into understanding the complexities of a player's contract and what some of the negative implications may be if Buffalo decided to make one move or the other. And Dawson Knox specifically, if, for example, that Buffalo wanted to move away from him either through a release or either through a post-cut trade, or maybe they trade Dawson Knox. I highly doubt they're going to do that, not unless Jackson Hawes completely impresses, and it's even a long shot from there. But say, for example, that he was a surprise cut, then we're saving $750,000 and we add $13.8 million in dead cap and 7.4 in dead cap afterwards. I don't think that he is, quite frankly, a candidate. I really don't. So that name is currently off of the list. And then you have to look at some of the other notable names of players like, oh, yeah, his production was terrible, so Buffalo should attempt to trade this player, or we should cut him. That player is Curtis Samuel, right? He's probably one of the other most popular names that are mentioned on a regular basis. Oh, Dan, we should totally get rid of Curtis Samuel. What did he do for us last year? That's an entire different topic for another day. I'm still high on Curtis Samuel. Maybe it's my delusion or my like pure sickening optimism around the player. I don't know. But regardless of how you feel about Curtis Samuel, he's in a very similar situation to Buffalo. So lock into his contract right here. And you will notice that we do have an out on his contract at the conclusion of the 2025 season. However, if, for example, that Buffalo wanted to say, screw it, like we need this guy off of our roster at all costs, wouldn't do us many favors. Like we would add $8.6 million in dead cap, 2026, 3.4. That's going against our books, and only save $430,000. We could potentially trade him, but I'm not particularly sure many teams that would want to send over assets and take on a contract, right? Especially a player that wasn't that productive last year. I'm still high on him, but what other GM in the NFL is going to share my same sentiment? I think that's the question. Say that we wanted to trade for Curtis Samuel, or an NFL organization wanted to, they would need to take on a $6.9 million base salary, basically. So he's off of the table as a potential guy. So with that, could go through, right? So here's his contract. We have $430,000 in cap savings if, for example, we wanted to move on from him. It doesn't make sense financially. So that's why. So when we're trying to predict who's going to make this team from a wide receiver perspective, don't put it in your mind at all that Curtis Samuel is not going to make this team, right? Like he's practically cemented onto this roster right now. So I think all we can do at this point is just hope and pray that he finally lives up to the contract in which that he was given. So we could take Dawson Knox out of the equation. He's not going anywhere. He's probably not going to be cut. Same thing with Curtis Samuel, largely because we are just tied to these guys contractually. So we could just get this out of the way. I'm also looking through, some people might think Daquan Jones, right? But a very similar situation to what we saw from Curtis Samuel. Same exact thing from what we saw from Dawson Knox. And plus, when it comes into the defensive tackle position group, we really don't have a lot of depth at the type of defensive lineman that Daquan Jones is. Jones, so is that true one-tech, big-body defensive tackle that opens up all of your three techs. Ed Oliver, same thing with Dwayne Carter, same thing with TJ Sanders, say, for example, that he does ultimately end up showing up. And we have Deon Walker, who we just drafted. And while I like the size profile from Deon Walker, he hasn't shown anything in college that makes me believe he's going to be able to seamlessly step into an NFL organization and be a day one contributor. I think Deon Walker is the kind of guy that needs a lot of development. Maybe next year, but with Jones, he's got to be on the squad. As far as depth, I don't trust anybody that is on the depth chart that would particularly work. We have Carly has come in with a question. Is the available cap space including TJ's rookie contract or no? So I think it's priced in as an estimation. So I've seen a couple of different things. I've seen Buffalo at like 200,000. I've seen them at 95. It's likely priced in, but it's not official. Say that makes sense. So it is with or without his contract going into it. That is it. Great question from Super Grova. So it's priced in, but it's not officially against the cap. So we may even be in a worse situation once that is set. And do keep in mind, we have a couple of extra candidates that could potentially be like shifted in, right? So we could potentially restructure. So Dawson Knox, or we could restructure Dion Dawkins. But here's my deal about Dawson Knox. I have a feeling that that pick from Jackson Hawes in the late rounds was right in the front office's mind of that is our Dawson Knox replacement. And I think that we're looking for a world where we can move on from Dawson Knox next year. So restructuring him would prevent it for one more year. So I have a feeling we're done with restructures. So with this offseason, if anybody, it's going to be Dion Dawkins. And we're probably just saving that in case we need to make a move during the trade deadline. Like basically what I'm saying right now is that I genuinely believe, based off of what we're looking at, this is what we're going to have for Buffalo. I really don't foresee many crazy changes. So Mulatto won't get cut whether he is injured or not because he is a star whenever healthy. Man, we're in poverty. Mason Belts. Yes, we are, my friend. We are the poorest team in the NFL currently. Well, say that it's not, we could be over. Yeah, for sure. But say, for example, that does officially happen, then that's where you'll ultimately end up seeing some restructures. And surprisingly enough, what would help the cap, at least presently, would be a James Cook extension. Surprisingly enough. Because where James Cook's contract is, I think he's set to make what, like $5 million this year in base salary? We could potentially create even more money by extending James Cook. So don't completely throw that out as an opportunity or / a possibility for this Buffalo Bills team. Not because we want to keep him, like we desperately want to keep him, but we're sitting there being like, yeah, like we need to make an extra $3 to $4 million on our cap spend in case something happens prior to the trade deadline. So if Buffalo decides to extend James Cook, folks, could potentially be. It could potentially be for the reason that we want to create money. That's kind of where we're at. I promise Brandon Beane knows what he's doing, y'all. We won't be over the cap because it is not allowed. Look at that. Big Daddy D. Just trade Knox and keep that money or eat that money is what he's saying. Big Daddy D. So I got to tell you what about Knox. So I think he is an important person to this team, but not so much in the receiving category. But that man is a hell of a run blocker. He is a hell of a blocker. He's solid in run offense. He is a great addition to this team. And it doesn't necessarily show up on the box score / box stats, but he's solid. While Hawes, at least on paper in college, is also a great blocking tight end, how is that going to transition into the NFL year one? I think that's a pretty good question to have here. I'm not willing to risk it, right? Especially since Dalton Kincaid cannot block to save his life. I love Dalton Kincaid. Has a great opportunity in being a true weapon in this offense. But Dalton Kincaid cannot block. He cannot block, man. So definitely be careful with what you wish for. Midnight. No, we can't get rid of Knox. Midnight is, come on, Ed. Why do people hate Knox so much? I don't know, man. So I think it's pretty easy. So when people try to like find an enemy, so with on this roster, I think they automatically just look at box stats, and that's fine, right? But so Knox's value is not in his statistics. It's more so how we scheme him in to what we do well within the Buffalo Bills run attack. It's funny because like when you think of all the players that Bills Mafia has turned on this offseason, one is Knox, surprisingly enough. One is Coleman. Both of those players are absolutely integral to the Buffalo Bills run blocking scheme. Coleman is so good at blocking. He is so good at blocking. And remove Knox and Coleman from last year, I'm not entirely sure that our run game would have been as effective as it was. So something to consider. Matthew is backstage, first caller of the day. How you doing, man? Talk to me.
What's up, Dan?
I'm chilling, brother. How you doing?
Tell you the truth, not that good. Home run derby. Home run derby.
Ah, the Derby. You're upset about the home run derby?
2 years ago, we had a race player in it, and we made it all the way to the finals, lost in the finals. This year, we had another race player in it, made it all the way to the finals, lost in the finals.
Oh, gosh. I'm
It's
sorry to
heartbreaking
hear
because,
that,
like,
man.
last time going to bed like that was that Bills Chiefs game. Like,
So the
it
last
sucks.
Bills Chiefs game is what you're talking about.
Last time I went to bed thinking, damn, sports hurt me today.
Yeah, you know what, man? But I am ready to be hurt again, right? I am ready. Like, nothing sucks more. And folks, I'm sure everybody in the chat can relate. Like when the Bills or your favorite team pisses you off and like you're ready for bed and you're just staring at the ceiling until 2 or 3 in the morning. It's something that I feel like all of us can relate to. Like, say the Buffalo Bills lose, man. Like, I'm up for the next 2 to 3 hours. I'm watching like highlights. And unfortunately, I'm going through like X replies and stuff from opposing fan bases trolling me, from people turning on the Bills. It sucks like when you're in the situation, but now that football has been gone for a couple of months, I'm ready for it. And so I'm ready to be hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I
Hey,
mean?
the Rays have hurt me enough. But hey, we
Listen,
sold. Well, at least we sold. At least we sold. So now we're gonna have a competent owner. So at least we got that.
I know, man.
We
I
sold for.
know.
I don't know if you saw like 1.7 billion. So
Mhm. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
heartbreaking. But so I guess on the Dawson Knox situation, I joined a tad bit late. So what's the thing? You want to like try to trade him, try to cut him, or what's the plan with him?
So with Dawson Knox, man, I think that he's like a really big piece to this offense this
Yeah,
year,
yeah.
the run blocking
I
scheme.
want to keep Dawson Knox, Dan Kincaid, both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So my thought is that so eventually we're gonna get to a point where like we cannot retain all of our homegrown talent that is drafted.
Yes.
And so I like looking at signs based off of the drafts. And this year, when we ended up getting TJ Sanders, that sort of gave me an idea that, hey, listen, I think there might be a world where Buffalo tries to walk away from Ed Oliver next offseason. When we got
Yeah.
Jackson Hawes, who is not really much of a tight end that's going to be a world breaker in the receiving game, he's a quality run blocker. Um, that tells me, oh, that is a tight end that has a similar skill set to Dawson Knox. Both Dawson Knox and Ed Oliver technically have outs on their contract next offseason. So I think that there is a world where we walk away with one or both of them, and it's all based off of the signs we saw from the draft. But I still think both of them will be on this team this year, some solid
Yeah.
contributors. But yeah, so that's
Did
me.
has Ed Oliver ever gotten the second contract or?
Yes, he does, but we technically have an out on his deal next offseason
Okay.
where we could walk
Okay.
away with like very limited cap implication and like we'd be able to save quite a bit of money.
I mean, for like the Haas, he was a seventh round draft pick. I mean, like, I don't know how much we could truly get out of him.
Yeah, it's
I mean, like a
it's
hundred
definitely tough to
other
predict.
picks passed on him for a reason. So, like,
It's
I
definitely
don't know
tough
if
to it's tough to predict, especially when you end up looking at how we walked away from our tight end 3, Quentin Morris, this previous offseason, who Buffalo
oh
loved.
yeah, yeah, uh-huh.
And so this coaching staff loved. So it goes to show you that this Bills organization has a lot of faith in Jackson Hawes, or otherwise they more than likely would have retained Quentin Morris,
Could you
right?
see us possibly going for a tight end in the first round next year?
No, man. How I'm looking at it, so I think when it comes into the first round for the Bills next year, it is either going to be a linebacker that is going
Yeah.
to be key slash an interior defensive lineman, but somebody that's more of a true one tech. because we have
Okay.
Daquan Jones, who has an expiring contract. And next year we have Matt Mulatto, who is likely going to be allowed to hit free agency. He'll likely be on another team. So next year, first round, and this is obviously a way too early prediction, and this could change. I think we either go linebacker or we go interior defensive lineman.
I mean, hopefully we're picking at pick 32 and this all doesn't matter, but
Yeah, exactly. I would love that and trade down, whatever, man. But Matthew, I appreciate you calling in. As always, have a couple more callers backstage. I'm going to let them in and
oh,
see what they
yep.
got to say. All right,
Bye
brother.
then.
We'll see you, man. We got Jay backstage. What's up, Jay? How's life?
Yo, Dan, what's up? How you doing? How you doing today?
Man, I'm living the dream. It's hot as hell down here in Florida, but
tell me about it. It's actually hot down here in Long Island. Well, up here probably because you're in the south.
It's baking. It's baking already.
Yeah.
Now, what's on your mind today?
Well, today is actually my 20th birthday, so I would like a happy birthday shout out from Dan Mitchell.
Happy birthday to my boy Jay from Long Island. Chat, spam happy birthday in the chat for
Thank
my
you so
boy
much.
Jay. What are the plans today, man?
I don't know, just hang out with some friends and my family. Hopefully get some nice gifts. I'm gonna get a Carvel ice cream cake. That's what I always like on my birthday.
So I'll tell you what. So with that Carvel ice cream cake, that is the move. So I have a couple of buddies that are on the Dairy Queen ice cream cake train. I'm still on the Carvel. I'm still Team Carvel. Huh?
I get you. I mean, Dairy Queen.
So your service is a bit shoddy right now, Jay. Let me know if you can still hear me.
With the Carvel ice cream cake?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I think you're in a bad area or something. You broke out pretty bad. But anyway, what's on your mind about the Buffalo Bills, man? Talk. Yeah.
So
listen, now I can. It's just in and out.
I just woke up, so I can hear you. No big deal right now. Yeah, a little bit of spotty network. Sorry about that, but
no issue.
We're talking about possibly cutting Dawson Knox. Maybe. Come on, Dawson Knox. I like Dawson Knox, and
yeah,
I think he just deserves to get the ball more. Why don't you know why the Bills actually drafted Kincaid? Now I do want Kincaid to succeed, obviously, but we gotta give Dawson Knox the ball more. When Dawson Knox was getting the ball before Kincaid got drafted, he was actually pretty good tight end, getting a lot of touchdowns in the red zone, being a big weapon for Josh Allen. Why is there even thought about even cutting him? I get maybe because of the cap situation and the Bills maybe think highly of Dalton Kincaid, but Dalton Kincaid has not played like a tight end one, as the Bills expect it to be. So Kincaid is not Kincaid. Knox is a good insurance policy to have, especially he's good in the blocking game. You know, when it comes to run or pass, you got to keep Dawson Knox. You know, I don't know. Maybe they don't bring him back after this year, but don't even think about cutting Dawson Knox. You know.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Like, I think that he has a really good responsibility this year because with Joe Brady, he loves running like 12-man personnel. Like, he loves having Kincaid and Dawson Knox out there. So I think last year he was really trying to force it to Dalton Kincaid. And half of the reason why I think that he continued to force it to him was I think that was Buffalo's strategy last year going into the season was that they said Dalton Kincaid is going to be our pseudo wide receiver number one. And the whole everybody eats mentality was something that Buffalo had to adjust to once they realized that Dalton Kincaid was having such tight coverage and defenses were focusing in on him. And Knox just sort of became a surprise target, right? Like somebody that wouldn't get quite a few targets. I feel like what pisses people off is that so they look at the amount of targets Dawson Knox received last year, and they end up looking at how much cash he ended up making. I don't think that people are upset with the player Dawson Knox, but I think they're upset with the coaching staff and his utilization. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, like I said, they should give the ball to Dawson Knox a lot more. I mean, he was getting the ball a little bit more when Kincaid was down. He was actually playing pretty well when he ever got the ball. I mean, he made some pretty good catches against the Detroit Lions, I remember. I mean, also that was a game when Kincaid, I remember, came back from injury. So it just goes to show you when you give Knox the ball, he can actually do some good things. He wasn't getting the ball that much in the playoffs, especially in the game against the Chiefs. I mean, they got to use Knox properly. I mean, this is last year of his deal. You know, maybe he wants an extension. I don't know what his future is with the Bills after this year, but just don't cut him is all I'm saying. But if there's one guy I would like to maybe get cut, don't even talk about Ed Oliver being cut. Ed Oliver was one of your best defensive players last year on the defensive line.
Oh, man, you're an Ed Oliver guy. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Why not
that.
cut Daquan Jones?
Yeah. So with his contract is interesting, right? That and then also when it comes into it, like we really only have one other guy on this roster that's the type of defensive tackle that Daquan Jones is, right? And that's Deion Walker. And like we got him
Yeah,
in the 4th round. Like he's gonna need a year or two. Say that we were to roll him out there as the true day one starter. And so would love to be proven wrong. I just think that it would be a massive struggle for him. He's not
right.
ready to fill in for Daquan Jones, so I think when it comes into depth perspectives, we need Daquan.
I agree with you, Jake.
Yeah.
I agree with you
But
somewhat on that.
so
But we
next year
drafted.
he's gone anyway. His contract is expiring, and I'm really hoping that Deion Walker can step up and develop well, or if not, like I said, I have a feeling that we're going to go for a defensive tackle right within the 1st round of the draft or a linebacker. But what's good about the 2025 season is that like we probably have one of the most complete teams from a depth perspective I have ever seen. Next year is a different story where like we're going to be having some expiring contracts that we might need to walk away from.
Yeah, I mean, look, the reason why I say cut Daquan Jones is because you could save a little bit more in cap right now, and especially because it's the last year of his deal. And you drafted 2
Yeah.
defensive tackles with T.J. Sanders and Deontay Walker, obviously. So you hope you see what you get out of them. And by the way, if you're worried about T.J. Sanders holdout, don't worry about it. He'll get a contract done.
Yeah,
One
he'll
more
get it
last
done.
question. Yeah, one more last question before I go.
Go
What do you
ahead.
think is going to happen with Cook? I think he'll still play this year, but like,
Oh, yeah, dude. Listen, like my worries have completely shifted over to TJ Sanders. I think that both of them will sign, or so especially with TJ Sanders. So with James Cook, man, like he ended up showing up to mandatory minicamp and
Right.
he went to the media and he said that he's going to be at training camp. So I'm not going to waste energy worrying about it unless I see a headline next Tuesday that he's not there. Um, so in my opinion, so I think that it's good for the Buffalo Bills for James Cook to have that chip on his shoulder because he understands that he needs to mimic what he did last year going into this year so that he can try out for his next opportunity wherever that is. So whether
Right.
it's with Buffalo or not. So I don't think that it would serve to his advantage at all to hold out completely, especially since he's 26 years old. He's going to be going out there and just dominating if you were to ask me.
I hope so, man. Cook was a vital part to our offense last year. Obviously, it was in the run game, which we desperately needed.
Oh yeah.
Because before like James Cook came in, we had Devin Singletary, who was barely used, and Singletary, I don't think was as great as people.
Yeah, he was
Bills fans
buns,
stuff.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was buns, man.
he
He
was
wasn't that
buns.
very
You
yeah, he
know,
wasn't very good.
he
But
was one of the best running backs the seasons I've seen from a Bills player since Shady. So,
yeah,
I hope they figure something out, but like,
yeah,
it's a business at the end of the day. I also do believe in Ray Davis and Ty Johnson a lot, too.
yeah. Well, hell. Well, hell.
All right,
Well,
all
listen,
right,
Jay,
Dan.
I appreciate the call and
I'm gonna
man,
hop out too.
happy
Yeah.
birthday to you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
happy
it, brother.
birthday to you, man, and feel free to call in whenever.
Of course.
Deuces.
Yep.
Happy 20th birthday to my boy Jay right here, folks. He's doing his thing. He's doing his thing over here. I can appreciate it. As DTN, Dan Wynn is backstage. What's going on, Dan?
Oh my goodness, Dan. I apologize for yesterday because for some reason I fell asleep because my sleep schedule has been a mess as of late because of my work schedule. And granted that if it wasn't for my work schedule, I would have been up all morning just enjoying the show. And yeah, I would have given my thoughts of whatever happened yesterday because, man, I had so many thoughts about yesterday's topic considering second rounders, considering of the Trey Harris holdout, potential of TJ Sanders holdout because
Yeah.
the Texans and the Browns, they really screwed up the NFL because
Oh, they
I
did.
have no idea why they would actually give these guaranteed contracts to these rookies who haven't even got a snap of the ball yet because
Mm-hmm.
they could because they're not like because some of these second rounders don't have like the potential to be like first rounders. So I don't understand like why they would do that, considering that these two organizations have never even made an appearance at a Super Bowl, which is so laughable, both the Browns and the Texans.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It could be a sign of where the league is evolving to because normally completely guaranteed contracts are just for vets and first rounders, obviously. But now, once the Browns and the Houston sort of Texans did this, don't be surprised if that's going to be something new moving forward. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if 10 years from now, right in the NFL landscape, that guaranteeing contracts for first, second, and third round players are all going to be implemented within this league. Money is not changing, right? Like they are not getting first round money. So the salary figures are all still there. But they just want it all guaranteed. They want those protections that all of the first rounders have. Now, I don't particularly know how this is going to play out this year. I think a lot of teams are just going to say, screw it. I'm sorry. Like, we can't guarantee your contracts because that's going to cause a ripple effect to like year 2, year 3 players who didn't have their contracts. It's just going to cause a massive mess. But unfortunately, since so with college ball and all of this NIL money, this is starting to bleed into the NFL. And I think this is going to be a change moving forward.
Yeah, I always want to go back to the college because I heard so many like stories about how the NIL has been like some sort of an issue because it feels like some of these college players who are technically like Gen Z, they feel like they want to be like entitled just like some of like these typical divas in the NFL. So it's kind of sickening to my stomach having to hear some of these college students acting like divas. And obviously organizations don't want it, especially both the Patriots and the Bills. And obviously I want to see all of our second rounders make an appearance training camp because it's not fair to anybody in the league because of the whole like guarantee deals with Jaden Higgins and Carson Schweissinger, because I know the Bills are talking about TJ Sanders potential holding out. I heard Jets talking about like looking into like what will happen with Mason Taylor, and for me personally, I wonder how
with Henderson.
Yep.
Yeah, what's going to go on Travion Henderson for y'all? So now I'm curious.
Because I love Travion Henderson.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
dude. It's going to be tough, man. I'm really having a hard time understanding, right? Like, I mean, what's going to happen? You know, like with today, I know that the vast majority of the NFL rookies are set to appear. So if I'm a gambling man, I think that we should have an answer within the next couple of hours. And
yeah.
rest be assured, I will be live.
Yeah,
for it.
for the Patriots rookies, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, reports are telling me that by the 19th we should find an answer, because I think that's when all the Patriots rookie show up for like attendance for like training camp. So I'm gonna have to wait till the 19th, but until then we should be fine for now, because there's so many like casuals being like, why isn't Henderson signed? He should have been signed from the get-go. If it wasn't for the Higgins guarantee contract nor the Carson Schweissinger contract, it would have been a whole complete different story. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. However, I do have one more question. It has to do with tight end. So
Sure.
I know that you say I love Dawson Knox and I love Dalton Kincaid, but how do you think that how do you think Dalton Kincaid can make a comeback, considering that everybody has been riling him because of that drop pass in that AFC Championship against the Chiefs? How do you think he's gonna make a comeback, considering that you guys drafted him in the first round and thought that he could be like a deep threat for you guys?
Yeah, man. I think last year was a mixed bag. So number one, yes, I know Josh Allen won MVP and he deserved it, right? Like he is the MVP of the league, reigning champ in that category. But like when it came into off-target throw percentage, Dalton Kincaid and Curtis Samuel had the most off-target throws from Josh Allen all season long, right? So to me, that sounds like that there was a lack of chemistry from Josh and then also Dalton Kincaid. a lot of tight coverage toward the beginning of the season as well, because that narrative that Buffalo had all last offseason was, oh, yeah, like who are their wide receivers? A bunch of bums. So a lot of what I saw was toward the beginning of the year, like Dalton Kincaid was circled right on the vast majority of the defensive coordinators, right? And then he ended up having that knee injury. I want to say he sustained it during the Indianapolis Colts game. So I'm hoping that last year was a fluke and last year that he can get that chemistry back associated. So with Josh Allen, and then also we'll see whether or not that he's gotten stronger, right? Because like, so normally with injuries, that does have to do with how like your strength and conditioning. So I think all right now, like we're just hoping and being optimistic, basically.
Yeah. And the reason why I would ask all these tight end questions because considering that Patriots might potentially need a tight end, but I wouldn't go with like trading for like one of the Bills because I would doubt that either Elliott Wolf or Brian Cannon would make calls with Brandon Bean. So basically, we can just like venture into like free agency this upcoming offseason and potentially find a tight end because all of our tight ends they're good, but they're old, like because they're like above 30 years old. So basically, like I might consider thinking about like the Patriots would consider drafting a tight end somewhere in like in the first within like the first 2 to 3 rounds, if I'm not mistaken. But we shall see. I hopefully that Dalton Kincaid can make a comeback, but then again, it will depend on how he's utilized, how he can like minimize all of these drop passes, but you know.
What can you do? Dan, I appreciate you, man. Sounds like you need to get some sleep, and then hope your sleep schedule gets back to normal here sooner or later.
Yeah, but before September before the season starts and before the school semester starts. But yeah, have a great rest of your day, Dan.
All right, man. You enjoy the rest of your day, bro. Peace. Shout out to DTN. Shout out to Dan for calling in. We have Mike all in the chat. Mike, what's going on, man?
What's up, bro?
Oh, man. Living the dream. Trying to. How about yourself?
Nothing much, bro. Just got out of the shower. About to have a nice day off.
Ah, nice. And so you're off on a Tuesday. I can appreciate that. And so what are the plans, man? Is there anything exciting?
Just moving to my first like apartment place with my girlfriend. So just big chilling.
Nice.
Gotta unpack a bunch of shit, unfortunately, but
yeah, that's a pain in the ass, man. You and I are going to be on the same page here in a couple of weeks. We're going to be moving here a bit, and I got to go collect a
Gainesville,
shit ton
right?
of boxes. Yeah, it's funny. So we're just going to be moving down the street. So we ended up getting a house, but we'll see. So what's going on with you, man? What's on your mind?
Just wanted to call in for the first time talking about Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
I personally believe that he's one of the most underappreciated tight ends that we've ever had in our history. I mean, we're not known for having like crazy good tight ends.
No, yeah.
He's definitely he's like top 3 in all-time yards and touchdowns and postseason touchdowns and everything for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That sounds like somebody that we should not be talking about, you know?
Yeah, dude, so like I said, so when it comes into a season, I feel like a lot of Bills fans want to find an enemy. Like some people hate Kincaid, some people hate Dawson Knox, some people hate Keon Coleman. But so with Knox, he's the type of player that really shows his contribution on something that's not going to show up on the final box score. It's just going to show that. So hear me out. If Dawson Knox was not on the field last year and Keon Coleman, then our run game would not have nearly been as effective as it was. Right?
Not at all, bro.
As much as I love Dalton Kincaid, like that dude cannot block to save his life, right? No. And people that just want to walk away from Dawson Knox and be like, oh no, like we need him to go out there and start catching some more passes. That's shifting the blocking responsibility over to Dalton Kincaid, and that's less than ideal as well. So he's definitely a big piece. I'm curious to see what Jackson Hawes does because he's the exact same type of tight end as far as skill set. Like we'll see. But I'm super interested to see where the front office wants to go with Dawson Knox next offseason, but he's still going to be a big piece for this upcoming year.
He's also got great hands. Like,
he does.
Every time you watch that dude catch the ball, it's like a fingertip, like falling catch. Like, he's reliable in very specific moments.
It's funny too because so I think that I heard his entire time in college, he didn't catch a single pass, right?
Jesus Christ.
Or / a touchdown pass, I mean.
Oh, okay.
But in high school. So, like, he basically spent a vacation in college from catching touchdown passes and had to get back into it in the
That's
NFL.
Crazy.
He's sneaky athletic, but for the most part, I think that his roster spot is safe. But shifting it to you, right? Like, we have training camp coming up. And with each and every single year, I think that there is some sort of surprise cut / surprise trade. Who would it be for you? Say that it's going to be anybody.
I'm not worried about getting some big trade with some huge player personally. I'm actually really on the camp with you about getting Chase Claypool in before training camp. And
Chase, yes.
If Codrington can do well enough and we don't go with Chenault and we add Claypool to the receiving core, I'm perfectly fine with that, bro.
Exactly. Dude, listen, man, you know what? Like, some people were very against that take when I said it. Like, let's just invite Claypool to training camp. And people were like, oh, no, he sucks. What are you talking about? I'm like,
we only saw him for like 2 or 3 years. Like,
first off, like, he is better than Caden Prather, folks. He's better than KJ Hamler. He's better than Shavers. He's better than Wilkerson. He's better than all of these dudes that are invited to camp.
Possibly better than Curtis.
What's it going to hurt to invite him to camp, ladies and gentlemen? I'm not giving him, like a $50 million a year contract. I think bringing in competition is very important to make sure you have the best possible roster going into the 2025 season. An invite does not hurt, folks.
Exactly.
That's what
I do. Or do I have time for a question?
Yeah. One more, man. Go ahead.
I've been like trying to find like 2 sleeper teams that are just not so generic. And low key. Okay. I know these are teams that I've never really cared about. But the Giants, I know they have an excellent defense in secondary and line. And the offense, I'm not going to lie. Malik Neighbors, was it Darius Slayton, Wandale Robinson, with a Tracy Jr. and a Scatabo? You had someone like – oh, is it?
So the Giants are a team that people are sleeping on is what you're saying?
Just slightly. I don't think it's going to be like a playoff team, but go from 4 wins to 7 or 8, like that's a big jump. That's a pretty size jump. And then the Cardinals' offense, I think, is I didn't even care about it last year, but this year, especially if Amari Cooper is gonna go there, Amari Cooper and Marvin Harrison with James Conner, who's gonna have no competition. Like, if Kyler can perform just somewhat decent, he should be able to.
So sleeper teams from my boy Mike are the New York Giants and the Arizona Cardinals.
Like, sleeper.
Dude, listen, you know what, man? Like, I love that take because people are typically lazy with their sleepers.
Yeah, so it's just like the most generic.
Oh, it's the Green Bay Packers, man. They are the sleepers. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, just give me something exciting. Like, give me a hot take to get excited about. So the Giants are going to be interesting, especially since Brian Dable is likely going to be coaching for his job. And then same thing when it comes into the Cardinals. But
and we know it's not his fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know it's not his fault.
No, not at all. It's just that organization being the dumpster fire that it is. Mike, I appreciate you, man. Best of luck on your move. And
anytime you need a place to stay in Tampa, I got you, bro.
Oh, my guy, dude. Look at that. I am in Destin. I'm not sure if you're familiar.
Yeah, in the Panhandle. I got people that used to live in Panama City and stuff.
All right, sick, man. All right, dude. I'll definitely hit you up once I'm down there.
Of course, brother.
And so you enjoy the rest of your day.
See you, brother.
My guy. Shout out to Mike being a caller, showing a little bit of love on the show today, folks. Kiggs, what's up? Why is Claypool even getting talked about? He got cut for a reason. Kiggs, why did he get cut? Why did Chase Claypool get cut? And then drop the answer in the live chat and also include a laughing emoji as well. Why did he get cut? Google search it up for me. Google search it up for me. Why did Chase Claypool get cut? Big Papa Bill came in with a $2 donation, just showing a little bit of love to Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert. He had an injury. Absolutely, Midnight. Absolutely. Chase Claypool. He ultimately ended up getting an injury settlement because he had an injury that completely blocked off his entire 2024 season. And during minicamp and training camp, and reports came out that he was one of the best wide receivers out there. So here's my thing. A training camp invite, folks, costs nothing. It costs literally nothing. They only end up getting money if, of course, they ultimately end up making the damn team. That's it. That is it, ladies and gents. I'm not saying Chase Claypool is going to make the roster, but I am saying that I would be interested to see how he does. Why not invite him out to training camp, especially since it sounded like he did so well. It sounded like he did so well. Never even said that. Behave or you will be timed out again. Is somebody acting a fool in the chat? Is somebody acting a fool in the chat? I don't know. I don't know, guys. Hey, listen, let's keep it, we keep it respectful. Buns, Matthew, Missouri, come on in. A statement, a training camp invite costs reps. Invite costs reps. It certainly does. But folks, like right outside of Shakir, Coleman, Palmer, / Elijah Moore, and Curtis Samuel, all 5 of those guys are making this team. And there is a 6th spot that is available. It's either Laviska Shenault, who has never proven that he is a good wide receiver in this league. Never. And none of these guys right here have proven that they are a good wide receiver in this league. Like, people are high on Shavers, but at least Claypool has actually proven one season that he can operate. Like, damn. So y'all are really thinking. Y'all are really, really thinking that he's not even worth a camp invite. And so, but y'all are excited about Christian Wilkerson, whoever the hell that is. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on. Let's be reasonable. Invite him to camp, man. Say that he gets cut, whatever. It's cool. But listen, I would be interested in taking a flyer out on the guy. I really would. I really, really would. What's up, Dan? Hope all is well. Been a while. What's new with Buffalo? Any holdouts? So were you around for the Jim Kelly and the Super Bowl years? I was. What a heartbreak. I need JA17 to rectify that pain. Yes, my friend. I was born in the early 90s. I was born in 91. So I don't really have a cognitive memory of that run / the Bills. Like, when I truly started to fall in love with the Bills was in the heat of the drought, right? Like, one of my first games that I actually have a memory of watching, unfortunately, was the Music City Miracle. So that sucked. So I was born in the darkness, molded by it. And as far as holdouts, like, nothing official. Say that TJ Sanders falls / say that TJ Sanders follows that same mold where we're going to be seeing him hold out due to guaranteed money that 2 of the 32 second round picks ended up receiving. I don't know, but that's a storyline we will be taking a look at. We will see that. I love seeing this chat accelerate. Man, I love it. I really, really love it. That is it. Mafia Madness. For real, Super Grova. Let's get the heat. People are talking. Agreed. Joe Rist. Question. Are there still group tickets for the Dolphins at Bills? Joe Rist. Great question. As a matter of fact, I know that for the Bills-Dolphins event in Buffalo, I know that we had one guy put deposits down, but then he reached out and he said that he no longer could come. Join us today for Fourth and Forever or / I will just talk to Richie. I'm pretty sure we still have a couple of tickets available since we had a couple of cancellations. But yes, man, I will send over that info so we can hang out for sure. Midnight. Let's see. No, Joe, I didn't believe so. Statement. Van Pran is a future All-Pro. Ryan dropping takes right now. Oh, dude, takes are all over the place, man, and I can appreciate it. But all right, folks, that's going to have to do it for another edition of the Don Mafia Report. I am going to be live on 4th and Forever at the Roundtable Sports side of things. Do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe if you didn't have an opportunity of doing so already, turn on bell notifications, and I will see you next time. Peace.